You could be doing everything right, working hard, saving, investing, and still lose 4 full years of your retirement. Not because of a bad investment and not because of inflation, but because of a simple tax mistake almost everyone makes and no one talks about. Fix this and you'll retire years earlier. Ignore it and you'll work years longer than you need to. So what's that one specific tax mistake that delays retirement by 4 years? It's simply that most people invest what's left after taxes and then they invest it in taxable investments. So they're losing money both on the front end and on the back end. So let me give you an example. Let's say you earned $10,000 and you wanted to put that away, but you're paying 40% in tax on that $10,000. You can't put away $10,000. You can only put away $6,000. So putting away $6,000 means that your compounding works that much slower. So instead of doubling $10,000, say every 7 years, you're doubling $6,000 every 7 years. And you can see you lose like a ton of your investment money. Now, this is why people suggest a 401k, right? You put your money in and you get a deduction, so you're investing after. However, you're still missing the second one, which I think is a really big one. And that is you're still paying tax on the money that you're investing. You go, well, wait a minute. No, it's not taxed. It's in a 401k. Yes, it is taxed. It's just not taxed until you pull it out, but it's still taxed. And the full amount is taxed, okay? And even the amount you put in is taxed. So you're being taxed on all this. I'll tell you just how big this is. So let's say you had the $10,000 and you didn't have to pay tax on the interest. Let's say you earned 10% on that $10,000 and you left it in for 30 years, but you paid 40% tax on that $10,000. You'd have $60,000 roughly after 30 years. If you didn't pay tax on the interest, it's just on the income, just on the 10%. You didn't pay tax. So instead of making effectively a 6% return, you made a 10% return. Instead of getting 6%, you get 10%. The compounding effect of that 10% takes you to almost $200,000 after 30 years. So you see, you're losing a lot by paying tax on that investment. You may be paying tax later, but you're still paying tax when you retire. So you have less money to pull out when you retire, which means that you're deferring or postponing your retirement. When you defer your taxes, you defer your retirement. So if you want to keep more cash in your pocket over the next 30 days without changing your business or working more, I put together a free guide that shows you just the way to do it. These are simple tax strategies I use with my clients every single day, and they can put real money back in your bank account fast. But here's the thing, we're only giving away 50 free copies. After that, it's gone. So if you want it, don't wait. Click the link below to download your copy right now. So how much of your life is spent just to earn the money that you give away in taxes? You know, on average, during a 30-year career, you'll spend 13 years working for the government. And at 1 year, you'll spend 4 months. So a third of your year. This is what we call Tax Independence Day or Tax Freedom Day. And it typically happens around the 1st of May every year. That's how much time you're giving up because you're paying so much in taxes. Is that what you want? Do you want to spend 13 years, or over a lifetime, it's like 20 years? Do you want to spend 20 extra years, or you want to get your time back? You could literally retire that much earlier if you simply didn't have to pay taxes. Think about why you bought gold in the first place. It wasn't just to have shiny metal sitting in a vault. It was for freedom, security, and long-term wealth. But here's the problem. Most gold just sits there. It doesn't grow. It doesn't pay you. And month after month, you're really no better off. Now, you're no worse off because gold tends to retain its value, but you're not better off. You're not adding ounces of gold. Monetary metals changes that. They make it possible to earn a real return paid in gold, so your ounces grow every single month. Imagine looking at your account and seeing more gold than you had the month before without adding a single dollar of capital. That's the dream. Owning an asset that protects your wealth and compounds it at the same time. So if you want your gold to do more than just sit still, go to monetary-metals.com/CPA and see how your ounces can finally start growing. That's monetary-metals.com/CPA. So let's think about what's the difference in retirement outcomes between someone who earns 10% taxed versus tax-free. Go back to my example, $10,000, 10% over 30 years. If you pay 40% tax on that, you'll have $60,000. If you pay no tax, you'll have $200,000. Then multiply that. You're not going to just invest $10,000. You may invest $10,000 a year. You may invest $20,000. You're going to invest a lot of money over your lifetime. If you could invest that all tax-free, and you get multiples like going from 10,000 to 200,000 versus 10,000 to 60,000, how much better off would you be? How much earlier could you retire? How much better could you retire? Let's say you don't want to retire early. Just think about how much better you could retire. To me, that's the most important thing. Retirement doesn't hold a lot of value to me. I like working, but what I don't like is having to work. And when I do retire, I want to have at least as much money as I have before I retire. I don't want to have less. I don't want to have what I need. I want to have what I want. If you want to change the facts of your retirement, you need to change your tax. And the way to change your tax is to change the way you invest, change the way you do business. So this is why I'm so adamant about explaining that the tax law is a roadmap to reducing taxes and increasing wealth. See, the tax law is a series of incentives. The question is, who's the incentive for? So here's a hint. It is not for employees who invest in the stock market. That's not who it's for. The incentives primarily are for business owners and serious investors in hard assets, agriculture, energy, business. These are real assets, not some paper asset like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So what's really happening here is the government saying, we'll incentivize you by reducing your taxes, literally pay you to invest the way we want you to invest. We'll pay you to do things the way we want you to do them. So look, you've worked too hard to build wealth just to risk losing it to taxes. If you want to protect everything you've built, this next video is a must watch. I'll walk you through exactly how to protect yourself, your business, and your wealth. Click the video on screen or down below, and I'll see you there.